Hey guys, welcome back to today's episode. Today we're going to take a quick look at two Jack Dorsey companies. First, a quick look at Twitter and how the stock is acting after the recent news that Jack came out with. Second, I want to more importantly take a quick look at Square. This is a company that has taken quite a beating in the past few months from its 52-week high, and I just want to really take a quick in-depth look at their earnings and just share my overall thoughts in the company and what the company is doing. If this is your first time here, make sure to hit the thumbs up, make sure to hit the subscribe button, check out the pinned comment where I have 10 free stock ideas for you, and I also have a free newsletter where I take a quick look at all the companies that I'm following. Here's a quick example, free for you guys. Just make sure to sign up. So let's just jump into it. So Twitter right now, I mean, when the market opened, it was up for the day. It was up, I believe, about 2-3% after the news that Jack Dorsey is stepping down as the CEO. But right now, unfortunately, Twitter is down about 1.5%. And we can see from its 52-week high, this stock has definitely seen better days. It's down over 40% from its 52-week high. For those that are not familiar, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of both Twitter and Square, has resigned pretty much as the CEO of Twitter, and he actually shared this letter, which he kind of shared to the rest of his Twitter staff on Twitter for anybody to see. It's a pretty easy read. I mean, it's pretty much your typical stuff. Hey, I'm leaving because I believe that the new leadership can do a lot better. You no longer need me. Your typical, I want to say, reason to leave any company, right? As Square investors, I've kind of read around forums, hey, Square investors might be a bit excited because, hey, now Jack doesn't need to kind of give all his time to Twitter. Now he can really focus on Square, which is starting to seem more like his baby right now. So like I mentioned, this is going to be what this episode is mainly about. We can see Square right now in the past 5 days is down about 4%, with the overall market downtrend. The past month is down 16%, but we can see from its 52-week high, the stock has also seen better days. It's down about 24.1%. And let's just take a quick look at the overall earnings, and we can see Square is one of those companies that you don't really, I personally don't really take a look due to revenue. It's not my favorite metric to kind of grade Square. I think gross profit is more important, just because we can see with revenue include things like Bitcoin transactions, which can really inflate or deflate revenue. So from the time that I've been covering Square, gross profit is my go-to metric, and we can see $1.13 billion, and that was up 43% year over year. We can see it's pretty much flat quarter over quarter. We can see that kind of gross profit is broken down between two main markets. First is the seller gross profit, which is more than half, is about 606 million, and that was up 48% year over year. I do believe it was also up about 3.5% quarter over quarter. Now, if we take a look at Cash App gross profit, Cash App gross profit is 512 million, was up 33% year over year. I do believe this is one of the things investors were not happy. It was down about 6.2% quarter over quarter. So for those that are not familiar, seller gross profit, this is pretty much all their solutions. If you are, let's say you are Square, you use Square as an e-commerce store, you have numerous solutions that Square offers, being subscription revenue, being payments. They take some fee from some form of seller gross payments. That's where seller's gross profit comes from. Then you have Cash App. So Cash App is pretty much the digital wallet. You can also do investing in crypto. They take a portion of money being sent or money being invested when you make a transaction, right? So those are the two main gross profits. We can see both of them are up. Cash App gross profit is up 33% year over year, which represents some strong growth. Do you want 10 free stock picks right now? Well, if you do, let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor, a great reason why I'm able to provide so much content to you guys for free. I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 free stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 4x. Go to fool.com/Jose to get your free 10 stock picks now. Now, if we take a look at adjusted EBITDA, that was 233 million, and it was up about 28% year over year, but unfortunately, it was down quarter over quarter. I do want to say, right, Square is pretty much an e-commerce platform. to some extent. So I think year over year metrics are more important than quarter over quarter, because there are certain seasonality events that really drive, for example, seller gross profit, or that really drive things like investing. For me, year over year growth is more important than quarter over quarter, but obviously seeing that quarter over quarter growth would be a lot more bullish in my opinions. Now I also want to take a quick look at some new products Square has kind of released after earnings, which I thought were pretty exciting. The first one is Square Photo Studio, and this is an application. Hey, if you're an e-commerce seller, you can kind of take a picture, and most of the time, if you're not at a studio, you probably have some crazy backgrounds or some mess or something else. If you're using this kind of photo studio app, it kind of removes the background and makes your image look more professional. So right now this app is actually free for anybody that wants to download it, anybody that's doing any form of e-commerce. The great thing about this app is once you use it, it kind of tries to cross-sell you some form of Square's applications, maybe some of their e-commerce solutions, their payment solutions. So even though it's free, it's great for kind of cross-sell. Next, they also announced that they are kind of doing their first ever freemium music tier on their Tidal. Tidal is a kind of audio streaming platform. So they're kind of doing their first freemium version, which is free. Then they also kind of showed some other different tiers or subscription levels. And more importantly, they kind of gave new solutions for artists to get paid on the Tidal platform. And that's what you want to see. You want to see more kind of artists come into their platform, because it drives more listeners. And with more listeners, it drives more artists, and that circle continues. Finally, they also announced on November 16th, Square Marketing launches in Canada. This is just more advertisement tools for the e-commerce customers of Square, so they can provide better advertising, or better marketing, can provide better marketing to their customers, which overall better solutions for their e-commerce brings more customers. More customers increases the amount of money and total payment volume, and total gross volume being seen on Square's platform. Next, let's take a quick look at their seller ecosystem and see what Square is really working on. First, they did announce that they released Square invoice processing. I thought this just allows, if you are an e-commerce seller, you can kind of invoice to your customers. I think this was pretty simple, and I'm kind of shocked that they didn't have it, but obviously it's helping overall with the solution. But what I think is more important is this gross payment volume mix. It went up to $41.7 billion, and that was up a strong amount year over year. I think it was up about 47% year over year, due to sellers with over $125,000 of annualized GPV. Most of the growth is actually coming from those coming with over 500,000. So we're seeing a huge growth in the top tier sellers of Square, but even I want to say even this medium size of between 125,000 to 500,000 is also seeing strong growth. Next, I want to take a quick look. Square is still expanding globally, and that international growth is something investors might be pretty excited about. During the third quarter, they introduced, for example, numerous requested products outside of the United States. They launched Square Marketing in UK, Australia, and Canada, as well as Square Loyalty in UK. And finally, in September, they've introduced Square Register and Square Card in Canada. More importantly, they did enter with numerous omni-channel products in France. So they are expanding globally, and this is why I believe investors are really excited about this company. Next, they also did increase their Cash App ecosystem. In their Cash App, what I thought was more important is they are allowing individuals ages 13 and over in the United States to have a Cash App account, and I believe this is important. The teenagers spend a lot of money, and now with parental permission and parental oversee, they can kind of have their own digital wallet, and they're grabbing those users early, right? Because now once they turn 18, the place that they'll most likely be familiar with, and the kind of digital app and kind of cash application, peer-to-peer payment that what they would be familiar with would be Cash App. So they're grabbing those users early. In my opinion, that was a great move. Another thing they did release was Cash App Pay. This is just another way to kind of get their ecosystem, seller ecosystem, and their payment ecosystem to kind of integrate well with each other. And this is, again, I'm overall very bullish in this company at the moment. Some things to note: subscription and services based revenue was 695 million. That was up 55% year over year. I mentioned earlier on, I'm not a big fan of revenue because Bitcoin takes Bitcoin transaction takes a huge portion. But that's why I just distinguished and wanted to see the subscription and service-based revenue. They also mentioned that their October guidance shows strong growth year over year in gross profit. And this is one thing I want to make clear. It seems like they're kind of seeing a slowdown right now in actual users, but the gross payment volume is seeing growth in both the seller ecosystem and in the Cash App ecosystem, which is overall increasing gross profit growth. Now, I just want to mention, this is in my portfolio, this is a tier 2 company. Right now, the stock price has definitely taken quite a hit. We can see in forms of technicals. I really like it at around this low 200 levels. These are the times where I would mid to high dollar cost average a position. The second thing I wanted to mention is, again, volatility can continue to go down. Stock prices can go down even further. So remember, only to invest what you feel comfortable. If we take a look at forward EV to EBITDA ratio, this is a ratio right now last seen, I want to say, in spring of 2020. So a lot of, I want to say, it has come down, right? Price valuations has come down a bit. Overall, I'm bullish in the company. I'm happy how they're really trying to grow their overall ecosystem and really integrate everything about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.